Hello, and I think it's good afternoon, but to be fair, it's just past midday, and I have had a very, very, very crazy last week where I pulled 2 all-nighters, and look, I'm just too old for all-nighters, but I had deadlines, so there was that. And so I promised myself and promised a few people that I would not work the weekend. And today is Sunday. Hubby is watching basketball, so there's no feet echo and there's no hello echo. Well, I can say hello echo because this video is pretty much kind of for echo because I know she's missed me. And just, I felt like filming again. I finally felt like I have the bandwidth and the mental space to film again. My last video was at the end of last year, and I kind of said, I may be back, I may not, I'm not sure. And I wasn't, and we're almost to the middle of, what's the month? Oh, March. And you know, so if you're new, hi, I'm Deanna. I ramble a lot, so you can skip forward if you want because this intro is going to be long. It's already almost 2 minutes long. And I don't edit my videos. And that's a whole other thing. But look, by the end of last year, I was pretty tired and I had some health stuff going on, and then my deadlines were crazy and work's been great. Work has been, you know, getting better and busier, and, you know, on that front, it's just actually been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I've loved every minute of it, but it has been very intense some days, and I'm just so exhausted. You know, I actually, major confession, have not DIY masked in months. But I have been trying to keep up with my skincare, and for the most part, except for a few periods where the deadlines were a lot insane, I have actually just been doing sort of a full skincare routine morning and night. Sometimes I might skip and be a little bit thinner on the skincare routine and use a few less products if I'm pressed for time, or if I'm you know, just lazy. That happens. But in general, I've been pretty good. So the skin's, you know, at the moment, even without the DIY masking every night, has been looking pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I don't have any complaints there. And I can talk about my skincare routine in another video if you're interested, you meaning Echo, because, like, let's face it, who else watches this? But yeah, so that's kind of me in a very small nutshell. I'm still at the moment recovering from some health stuff, and it's kind of been rough because I really didn't have time after some stuff happened to recover, because I kind of dove right back into just full-on work mode, and it got very, very intense. So this weekend has been great. It's been a bit hard trying to unwind and to not actually work. So this is my alternative. And yesterday I kind of felt like, oh, you know, I kind of feel like I want to start filming again. And then I didn't, because I lounged around and vegged out and just watched YouTube videos, and last night I read a bit, and I went to sleep like 2 entire hours earlier than I usually go to sleep, which is unheard of. And I got a fair chunk of sleep. I'm still utterly exhausted and very, very tired. But I'm feeling pretty good. If you've noticed, I am looking a little chubby. The reason for that is because menopause. And because of recovering from the health things, I actually haven't been able to do much by way of physical stuff. And I've got another 2 or 3 weeks to go before I can start getting back into that. So I've put on a little bit of weight. I am not entirely happy about that, to be honest. But it is what it is, because, you know, menopause just kind of makes everything hard. But on the menopause front, I have been feeling a lot better mentally because I have switched up some of my supplements. And, you know, that's another video, maybe an article for the menopause website. But, and that's just really, really helped me. So there's that too. Okay, well, I'm going to put on my makeup because I need to run out to the shops and do a few errands, and then I am going to feed hubby. I don't actually know what I'm going to cook today because we have a few options in the fridge because we've just done a grocery shop. So there's some leftover original bolognese sauce, and when I say original, I mean Pellegrino Artusi's 1891 version of bolognese, which was, fun fact, the first documented version of bolognese, and it does not actually have tomatoes in it, and there's no garlic, and they use veal instead of beef. And it's very rich. It's utterly delicious. Very, very delicious. But it was a surprise. I mean, even for me to learn. And I'm such a nerd, you know, with everything that I'm interested in. I just went down this rabbit hole of, like, Italian food. But that was kind of fun. And so there's some leftover original Artusi's bolognese sauce. I don't think there's much anything else left over. But I've got some meatballs in the fridge, I've got some sausages in the fridge, and I got some mushrooms. So I have a choice. There's quite a lot I can do. And when I asked hubby this morning what he wanted to have for lunch, he was like, oh, anything. And I'm like, well, do you want pasta? Do you want rice? Do you want noodles? Do you want this? Meat? But one thing I do have, which I need to use, is some leftover fresh daikon. So I think I'm going to cut that up and roast it with some carrots and some potatoes and just have some roast vegetables on hand. Mostly because I just really need to get that used up before it goes off. So we're going to do makeup. But before I do makeup, who remembers this? I'll put it up close so you can, like, really see. But who remembers this? I know Echo would. But this is the Nude by Nature Perfecting Primer, Blur, and Mattify Face Primer for foundation. And when I first, just a little recap, when I first got it, you see these little lines here? The brand new tube was here. Like, half the tube was air and it was empty. And I was very unhappy about it. I actually have a video complaining about it. But I'm done. I am finally done. I'm just gonna, like, show you. Look, it is, hopefully it doesn't glare too much. But look, there's nothing left in it. I did use this sucker up. It was difficult and painful because it pilled under makeup too, so it meant that I couldn't actually use it under a lot of foundations, and it only worked if I was doing powder or powder foundation. So this is done. Hooray. I also thought that I was never going to do makeup videos again. So my basket, which was usually what I used that I, record, is empty. well, no, it's not empty, but it doesn't have makeup in it. It's just got like assorted junk because I've just been, you know, randomly putting things into it. So that's kind of where we're at on the whole makeup front and things like that. I had this idea that I was going to change my setup too, but at the end of it, this is kind of what looks and works best to me on my little, you know, in my ability to film, because I film on my phone and I don't have, you know, I'm not gonna do the whole fancy thing because I just have other priorities at the moment, and doing the whole fancy thing just is a lot of effort and energy that I do not have. Okay, so I am going to start with my Laneige Sleeping Mask X, it's called. I don't know why it's called X. This is in the Grapefruit scent, and just, I don't like it as a night lip balm. It doesn't stay long enough, but it works great. I've actually made quite a dip into it, but it works great as a just a lip prep kind of a lip balm for the face. Now, what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna prime. I'm working my way through my Tarte BB Tinted Treatment 12-hour primer broad spectrum SPF sunscreen. Wait, that's what it looks like. And the light doesn't make it show up very well. And I have it in the shade Fair. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I've been using it a fair bit, but I can't actually see through it. So I don't actually know how much is in it and how much is left, but there's a fair bit left in it. And unlike the Nude by Nature, this one was a full tube. But it says healthy treatment, 12-hour primer, buildable coverage, oil-free moisturizer, pore minimizer, skin brightener, chemical-free sun protector. It's okay. I'm not blown away with it. I still have very strong feelings about my Touch in Soul pore minimizing foundation primer that I used up a long time ago, and I haven't replaced. And I haven't replaced it not because I don't love it, because I really love it, but I haven't replaced it because I have other stuff I want to use up. So that's what it is. This one I don't like applying with my fingers because it is slightly tinted. So I kind of just squeeze a little bit out into my little dish. And then I use my fake hourglass that I got because your girl cannot afford a real hourglass. And I'm just gonna apply. What I do, I think it's because of the sunscreen, and if I'm looking down, it's this mirror. It seems to be, it smells chemically, and I have to be really careful not to get it too close to my eyes, because if I get it too close to my eyes start to water and sting a bit. But for people who have watched me for any extended period of time, you will know that I just do not like to waste things, and I do not like to, you know, throw it out without reason. And it works. It's okay. So I will use it. I will use it up. But that said, if it was horrible and unbearable, and I've done this before, I will, you know, I will get rid of it, because why torture myself? I'm 54 years old. No, I'm not. I will be turning 54 years old at the end of this week. Or, you know, next week, because it's Sunday. Next Sunday, I will be turning 54. And so, you know, your girl just does not need awful things in her life. So I am going to, I would have decluttered this, and I would have gotten rid of it if it really was incredibly awful. But it's not incredibly awful. It does a sort of work, and I don't hate it. But like I said, I have to be careful what I do, you know, putting it on. And I'm just kind of pushing it into the skin after applying it with a sponge. It's just a bit of a faff as well, because like other primers, I can just, you know, go on my face and it's done, right? But you see how long this has taken. So yeah, buckle in. This is going to be a long video, but mostly this is just to catch Echo up, because she's been a bit quiet. I've been extremely busy, so we really haven't had a chance to kind of catch up. And this was always our way of catching up, was she liked to say she got just like a little dose of me, because she felt like I was talking to her, and I am. She's my friend. I love her dearly, and I know she enjoys these, and I have fun making them for her. That's kind of a lot of why I do it, besides the fact that I just kind of like to ramble and, you know, things like that. So this is it. Do I want foundation? Yes, I do. I think I'm gonna just, because I'm here already, wax them on. And I think I am going to use, what am I going to use? Where is it? It's somewhere. Where have I put it? There we go. My Maybelline Superstay, and this is the up to 30-hour Lumi Matte Foundation, and I am in the shade 108. It's actually a really nice foundation. I have heard a lot of people raving about this foundation, and I've seen a lot of people, one of the ladies that I watch a lot, Kat, from Kitsch Snitch, I think is her channel. She's kind of become a bit of a perfume buddy of mine. She loves it. And I've used it, liked it, but to be fair, the last couple of months has not been very much of a makeup or foundation time for me. Not because I didn't want to, but because I actually spent a lot of time head down, or, you know, butt down at my desk or in bed working and trying to hit deadlines and get edits done and things like that. So some days there was barely any skincare, which is shocking, because we all know how I feel about consistent skincare use or application. But a lot of days, unless we were actually going like out, there was no makeup. And a lot of times, if it was just running out to the shops, all I really did was skincare, sunscreen, and, you know, this, where is it? This primer, just to use it up, and then, what do you call it? And then powder. So that was all it was. This sponge, by and large, should really be gone, you'd think, but it seems to be hanging in there. I don't know. I don't think it was, like, it's not a beauty blender, and it's not a super fancy sponge. I might have paid $1 for it on Amazon. And so, yeah. But it's hanging in there. I give it a wash every now and then, and it has served me well. I think, you know, value for money, great value for money. I'm looking a little pale, and I think the paleness has more to do with the lighting and the primer. Because when I look in the mirror in front of me, like over there, I look all right. So just imagine that in real life, I don't actually look like Casper, okay? Right. Okay, we're done with... I've been enjoying these, which are my Naked Sundays Cabana Glow Drops. I needed some more sunscreen, and they had, I don't know, 30-40% off their website or something like that. And they had this like kit that included like sunscreen spray, and a bunch of other things, and these came with it. And I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, but it turns out, yeah, I do use it. So it's got the blush version, which is the Naked Sundays Cabana Glow Mineral Glow Serum Drops Blush SPF 50 with pink algae and hyaluronic acid. And this is in the shade, what shade is this? I think it's just called blush. It's pink. And it's nice. It's very subtle. It's very glowy. And then this is the Naked Sundays Cabana Glow Mineral Glow Serum Drops Bronze SPF 50 with Wild Rosella. So bronze, blush, and I'm going to use these two because it puts a little bit of life into my face before I powder and set everything. And then it's actually quite easy to just put a little bit of a powder blush on top to enhance it if I like to. And I think for the most part, I'm liking it because it's easy. And easy at the moment is working for me because, you know, busy, lazy, all that sort of stuff. And I don't actually have to be too careful with it, which I also quite like. So I just put, you know, a little bit on my little plate here. And then do this. And I know that looks like a lot, but it actually shears out and it blends out really nicely. And I just use the same sponge and then just, you know, wash the sponge. And I do like the fact that when I do this, the placement of the blush works for me because I like it concentrated sort of higher up because, you know, with my older saggy face, I don't want, you know, the blush to kind of like drag my face down. And I find I just have a little bit better control keeping it high up, because when I use a brush, I kind of just get a little bit enthusiastic because I love blush. And sometimes I don't even bother with blush after this, after I powder, because the color still comes through. It looks very natural. It's still very glowy. And then with the bronze drops, and look, everybody is doing these droppy things right now. I know Mco Beauty has some out, but you know, for a dupe brand, Mco Beauty is ridiculously expensive, I find. So I don't really buy anything from them, and I'm you know, not that I'm on a no buy, but you know, we're still in the process of downsizing and decluttering, so you know, I just want to use up what I have. So just I think I might have just got a little too enthusiastic with this, but that's all right. So I do it across my, when I'm having a client meeting, I do apply makeup because my lights in the office under the camera washes me out a great deal. And then what I do is I actually top these bronze drops up with a contour stick from Mecca. This is the one I've been using recently. This Mecca Max contour stick. It's the Mecca Max Off Duty Contour Stick, and I'm using it in Rich. It's actually very dark, very, very dark, but I don't use a lot, and it blends out, and as a result, the contouring is actually ends up looking very natural by the time, you know, I've blended it out and I've buffed it out and put a buffing powder over it and all that sort of stuff. So this is going to last absolutely forever. It might go off before I actually end up finishing it, because you saw how much I squeezed out. I don't use much of it, but there's just a lot of product. And, you know, it just buffs out and looks very natural, but it does look like it's giving me a little bit of color back into the face and a little bit of bronziness. And oh, by the way, I'm a tiger on my head and a leopard in my dress. Don't worry, I'm not going to go out in public like that. My little tiger headband is just for me to get my hair out of my face so that I can do my makeup without hair everywhere. But ooh, looky, I don't look like a Casper nearly as much anymore. Still look a bit Casper-y in the middle, but that's okay. So that's it. That's how I kind of contour-ish. And before I get stuck into just powder to set everything, I am going to clean up my eyebrows and get all the product off it, so it's not goopy. Because otherwise that's not cute either. Yep, you could tell the before and after from earlier. It had like this white cast on it. I tried to be careful around my eyebrows, but it still picks some stuff up. Look, there's a little bit of stuff there. Okay, powder. I am still working my way through. Where am I now? I don't know where I was at before, but I'm about there now with this ginormous Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. I love it. This is in the color Translucent. I love it. I know a lot of people don't like the smell, but I don't mind it. I mean, every now and then I do go, whoa, it is strong. But as a powder itself, it's very inexpensive and it is fantastic. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna complain. Is that the word? Yes, I'm not gonna complain about it. Okay, here we are. Eco toothbrush. I pulled something off it. This is a brush guard, and the reason I have a brush guard is because I discovered that with the way I store my brushes, if I do this, it protects the brush. And with some of the brushes that I had, because I was putting them in the jar and pulling them out and putting them in and putting them out, the neighboring brushes were getting all like manky and wonky, and the bristles were, getting really badly damaged. And, of course, that reduces the lifespan of your brush, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just powdering. I do really like this powder. It's just setting and mattifying, and I like to be a little bit glowy. And yes, I am looking down because I'm putting the powder is down on my dressing table, and I do not want to, but it's not a flat matte look for me, so I like it. And after a while, once my skin warms it up and it all settles down, and I kind of, top it up with, there's still a little bit of glow going on. So I'm not flat matte, but it sets the product, look, I've still got that little bit of contour. There's still a little bit of blush. I can, if I didn't want to, and if I could just get away with, I could just get away with, you know, this is enough, and leave it at that. But, you know, this is a special occasion because it's my very first video back. I do have a backlog of videos. Actually, speaking of videos back, I do have a backlog of videos, quite a lot, that I had filmed but hadn't posted yet. So what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to promise any schedule. I just can't. I don't have the ability to be consistently going, trying to do what I did last time, which was like twice a week on a certain day at a certain time a video went up. So this is kind of me saying I'm back to doing videos, but I'll do them when I have time, and they'll go up when they go up. And for Echo, you know, I'll just message her and say, hey, there's a new video up. Yeah, and be that, do that. But look, it's nice because it's very, I feel what I'm doing now, which is a pretty sort of normal everyday technique for me, is it's really just giving my face some definition and looking less and chubby. And I'm kind of liking it. I am still using my broken, never-ending Nars Orgasm blush. And this thing is so old, but it's still going strong. It is, you can see the metal around the edges, right? It's gone down. It has, but it's just taking a very long time to go down. Another brush. This is my blush brush. This is the e.l.f. complexion brush. I'm not sure if they still make this brush because this is very old. And the brush guard, because it really, the brush guard does help keep the shape, protect the brushes, and I got a pack. You can get them off Amazon. I got a pack of like 50 for $3 or something ridiculous like that. I was talking to my friend Steph, and she goes, oh, they'll break, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I got 50 for $3 and I don't have 50 brushes. I've barely made a dent in them. So there you go. So a little teeny tiny bit of Nars Orgasm today, I think. The blush, not the other thing that the word represents, which kind of still cracks me up because, you know, it's still a bit of a naughty word. But the funny thing is, a lot of people kind of diss this blush and go, oh my goodness, Nars, they're releasing another version of the Orgasm, and it's, you know, they've got it in the lip oil and the afterglow lip balm and this, that, and the other. But hey, you know what? It's popular for a reason. They're doing it for a reason, because I'm betting you it still sells like crazy, and it's still one of my all-time favorite blushes. If I was left with only one blush that I could use forever, if somebody said to me, it would be this one, because it really suits my skin tone and my complexion. And you know, I guess it works for, you know, other people too. So that's why it's popular. It's popular for a reason. They keep coming out with related products of that for a reason. Okay, enough of that. What am I going to do next? I have to do my brows. I'm going to keep my brows looking a little bit messy. So, throwback to previous videos, you would have heard me talk about my DIY brow gel, the tinted one, because I have dark brows. It's very hard to find a color that matches. So I ended up like mixing a few plus a little bit of like black brown mascara to get my perfect color. And I also have very stubborn brows that seem to like stick out like this. So I recently discovered the Mecca Max, oh, how do I read this? Brow Guru Brow Gel. I guess that's what it's called. It's clear. The Mecca Max Brow Guru Brow Gel is clear, but as you can see, this is not a clear tube. The reason is because I love the fact that it's in a clear tube so I can see what's in it. But the brush, which, you know, you think, oh gosh, that's ginormous, is fantastic for my brows. So what I've done is I have two of them. The green with the green tape and the green tape, orange tape. So green tape is the tinted color brow gel, and it's very tinted, as you can see. You can, you know, it does, and I try to be gentle because I don't want to overdo it, because it's so easy to overdo. And the orange tube is the you see the difference, and the orange tube is the brow gel, but it's got a little bit of this tint in it just to color it so that it no longer looks clear. And this is very much a me thing, okay? This is me being weird. So that it no longer looks clear, but it's still essentially just a brow gel, and it's an amazing brow gel, by the way. I was saying to my other makeup friend, Sammy, because Sammy works for Mecca, and I said, Sammy, my goodness, I don't know where I got this from, but I ended up with a tube of the Mecca, you know, Brow Guru brow gel, and oh my goodness, it is amazing. It holds. It really holds. So I use the one with the orange tape on it as just the brow gel, just to hold if I don't want to put color, a color tinted gel into my brows, because as you can see, it takes a little bit of time and effort, and just to make sure that I don't like faff it up really badly, and still needs a little bit more. And but I still want the hold. Or if I decide, you know, I don't feel like using brow gel today, I just want to use a brow pencil, which I still do, then I will use that. Are they even? It's very hard to tell. I'm looking in my phone viewfinder and it's very hard to tell, so I'm gonna look down here. It's good enough. I'm only going to Big W and Algae. Do I want to put anything on my eyes? I might just do like a really light wash of something. My new favorite is my number 14 Hourglass Dupe brush. I did recently have a change up in my brushes. I might have mentioned it in a previous video last year, actually, but because I needed some new brushes, because I hadn't changed any of my brushes in like forever. Anyway, this is a little MAC Duo, a very old one that I dug up recently, and it's got Satin, Taupe, and all that glitters. And this is such a throwback to back in the day when I was doing makeup videos on my Deanna's World channel. Like, wait, I mean, I'm talking like more than 10 years ago. I'm thinking 11, 12, 13 years ago. But my friend Tessa and I were kind of like doing videos together. And she's moved on to making planner videos because she's really into her planner thing. But back in the day, Satin, Taupe, and all that glitters was like the thing to use, and she loved it. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of Satin Taupe. I love Satin Taupe. It's such a wonderful, and I don't use a lot of it because it can get quite dark on me. It's such a wonderful neutral color. And it just gives me, if I use a big fluffy brush like this, it just gives me a little bit of like a contour. like just a little bit of definition in my eyes, because I've got, you know, your typical Asian monolided eyes, and that has very little definition and things like that. So I was going to talk about, did I say what I had a few things in mind that I wanted to talk about, but I think I've pretty much covered everything. Mostly just saying that I'm kind of back, but not with, you know, any sort of schedule. I'm still, believe it or not, pointing people to the channel and to like the past skincare videos that I've made, because this morning I was actually chatting with a friend, and she's recently discovered K-beauty and, you know, Korean skincare, and I said something about DIY masking, and she said, please explain. And I said, here, watch this video. It's just so much easier like that, because I get asked about this stuff all the time. My mom's been really busy, so she hasn't had much time to do much skincare either, or masking, but I think she's keeping up with her skincare. We used to talk every day, like every day. But she's been busy, so I haven't heard from her much recently. I'm actually going to pull my Nars blush back out and just take some of that into the crease. But she messaged me a couple of days ago and said, things are calming down and things are going to be less busy soon. So they will, you know, maybe we can start back on our evening chats. Usually, a lot of times what we used to do before she got very busy was, look at that. It's just, these brushes are so nice for just like this wash, and it looks completely seamless in person in terms of how beautifully and effortlessly it is to blend. And they're so soft, so nice. And it works with like the dark colors as well. I'll show you in a moment, because Satin Taupe can be pretty dark and pretty intense depending on how you apply it. But anyway, so she messaged me a couple of days ago and said that she thinks that she might have time soon for us to start chatting again while I get ready and when I get washed up. Because what we used to do is in the evenings, whenever I was washing up and taking everything off for the day, she would, I'll video call her and she'll basically chat with me and watch me do my skincare. And it was just this kind of thing, you know, that we did together, and it was fun because it allowed us to catch up and kind of figure out what was going on with each other and just kind of have a little bit of a some mother-daughter time. Okay, some Guerlain Meteorites in the original color Fair or Clear. I'm not exactly sure, but you know, this is a classic, and I haven't actually been using this very much because I haven't really been doing makeup very much. But I just love how smooth and finished this makes my skin look. I don't look at the date on this. I have been working on this since the 8th of January 2024. And look at that. It's still going strong. I think the sucker is never going to finish. And no, this is not the original container. I didn't like the original container because it was too small, because I had a smaller size one and I couldn't get my brush into it. So I switched containers on it. And I actually even just go over my blush like that. And I love the way, I know it looks like, whoa, Deanna, what are you doing? You're blush is going to disappear. It doesn't. And it actually just makes everything look so seamless and so blended in. I mean, obviously you don't have to use the Guerlain Meteorites. You can use any kind of finishing powder, but this is just what I happen to have and I'm using it. Okay, that is done. That's the makeup. And that was 45 minutes of me just rambling, mostly giving Echo an update. And also, one last thing, lips. I'm just going to blot off the lip balm, and I am going to Everyday Red, because why not? We love Everyday Red. This was originally a Colourpop lipstick, and it was in, I don't even remember the original name for this color, but it was the Colourpop Glossy Lip Stain, and they discontinued it. Not the Glossy Lip Stain, but that particular color. And the closest they have now to this, which I call my Everyday Red, and I just kind of mixed a bunch of different lip stains together to get this color for me, is Big Apple, Red Apple. I think it's the Colourpop Glossy Lip Stain in the color Big Apple. But Big Apple is more blue based, whereas my Everyday Red is a bit warmer and it's got a little bit of terracotta and a little bit of orange in it. But in terms of what's still available to buy, Big Apple is it, and it's close enough, I mean, for a lot of people. But it's not exactly the color of my Everyday Red. And I do have Big Apple because every now and then, I like Big Apple for evenings when I'm going out and I just want something for that's got a little bit more oomph. Okay, I am done. I am going to check with hubby to see if he's ready to head out and if his basketball game is finished. He said it shouldn't take too long because it was his college basketball, and so it should finish sooner. So yeah, that's it. What else is there? That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I hope you're well. Drop a million comments because, you know, it's basically your job now. Next videos up might actually be just backlog of things that I have previously recorded and maybe a bit outdated, which you may or may not, you know, whatever, but it's there. And I might as well just use it because it's done and it's content. And I can be a little bit cheaty about it. So that is it. I am going to go. We've got some shopping to do, some lunch to make, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Echo, your emoji of the day is something cat related, given the outfit. But I'll take off the headband before I go out and go shopping. So yes, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Do the YouTubey things, and I love you all. Bye-bye.